Today we're checking out my awesome custom Dodge Charger and the latest on the 2021 Speed Champions. Welcome to this edition of Fusion Friday. As mentioned before, today we are checking out my 1970 Lego Dodge Charger, and I think that it looks really awesome. You can see on the screen behind me what it used to look like, and I thought it would be really fun to do something to a Lego kit that you would never ever do to a classic car like this, so that is mostly why I built it. Also, be sure to stay tuned to see the latest news on the 2021 Lego Speed Champions. Yes, they are coming. You don't have any reason to fear. So let's take a closer look at this build right now. Taking a closer look at my custom 1970 Dodge Charger, you can see that the whole black paint scheme and the majority of the whole build is straight out of the box of the kit, and that's one thing I really wanted to keep with this car, is just the fact that it looks still like a 1970 Dodge Charger, and that's one thing I think Lego really nailed with this car, especially this little shaping right here and the red stickers, or the red and black stickers for the big red stripe at the back of the car. I really liked that, and I wanted to keep a lot of that in this just so it still looked like a Dodge Charger and you could still tell it is, but it definitely has been modified. Starting off at the back, you'll notice this little nub and how smooth the back is, and one thing I wanted to make sure I didn't have back here is exhaust pipes, and that is because it has little side exhaust, which would of course make the car louder. It would probably be straight piped, so it'd be this really loud, obnoxious, cool off-roading machine. And this little nub back here can actually flip down, so you can pull maybe like a 4x4 camping trailer or something, whatever you want back there, maybe some gear or something, but that's just there if you would want it, and that can fold up for more ground clearance. Continuing with the taillights, you can see that those are the same as the original kit, and right above that you'll notice the massive spare tire. Now, I think this part was probably what took the most thought of the whole custom build, other than of course having the flared fenders and the wider wheelbase, but you can see that that is just attached with this little claw, and that is stuck up into where the hubcap would normally go on the Speed Champion's rim, and then in there's a little bar. And I also have kind of these more aerodynamic looking pieces just to keep it so the car doesn't look extremely crazy with the spare tire on the rear of the car, and I just really liked how that ended up being a very similar height, and that did not get completely clipped in, and there we go. But that way it can just rest up on these two slope pieces, and it's nice and on there, and it's not gonna fall off, and I thought that was really nice and one of my favorite features of this whole build. Now, a feature that I'm not super crazy about is that it can't roll, but that is of course due to the massive tires rubbing on the fenders, and I could have fixed this by making it a little higher off the ground, but I just thought that it looked a little weird and it was just too high off the ground, and I really like the way that it looks now, even if it has zero tire clearance at all. I just thought it looked really cool and cartoony and fun, and the whole build of this car is really for display and looks and all that. So, the flared fenders, you'll notice on my Instagram, at LuclearFusion, you will see a very, very similar build to this. This used to be kind of a almost Le Mans car or touring car version of a 1970 Dodge Charger, and that's really where those flared fenders came from. You should definitely go check that out because that was really cool, but I thought it would be fun to kind of go from extreme street racing to extreme off-road racing and make it this big off-road racer. So that is what I have done, of course, and you can see how I have extended the wheelbase. I just kind of put some brick pieces with those Technic holes and then put some Technic pins in between the wheels and there, and you can see the tires are a little bit big for the Speed Champion's rims, of course not helping our little rolling situation, but I wanted to keep the Speed Champion's rims because they are made for these Speed Champion's cars, and I thought they still looked really nice. Now, on the front, you can see it is mostly the same, but I also have these little bush guards, and I didn't want to put a massive bush bar, kind of like on a police car or some other off-roaders, but I definitely wanted to have something there to suggest that it could go through some thick brush or kind of protect the front of the car from rocks or something. So I just kind of put these little ones that can protect the corners of the front, and those of course take place of a couple little orange lights that were there in the original set. Speaking of things in the original set, you'll notice that I have gotten rid of the big engine blower on the top, and I thought that that looked really funny and really cartoony. You'll also see that in my custom build for the touring car on my Instagram if you go check that out. And this I have put in its place, and this is of course just a little supercharger bump represented with that piece and a little bar piece to help support it and make sure it doesn't just fall in. But that just kind of takes the place of the blower. You can see another little downside to the car is the structural part. I did end up taking out some of the structural pieces of the whole car, but you can just push that in there, and that is just how that goes. And the reason I took out some of the structural pieces is because one of those structural pieces was the axles that connected the wheels to the car, and I have taken those out because it just kind of didn't go with it, and it would be too short for the actual car, and I really wanted to extend the wheel, or make the wheelbase a little wider, and that is how I did that. So the cost of that is having a little bit of not so great structural integrity in the front. Now let's take a look at the little base that I've built for this car. So for the base of this little custom build, I just tried to make it clean and pretty nice, but I just have some random little terrain builds over here, some little step up looking stuff here, a little desert shrub or dead shrub or whatever you want to call it, and a little bit of mountain here, but the whole bottom is surrounded in these gray pieces. You can see some of the structure of the base on the bottom, and that is of course made up with those same gray pieces. And the idea was to be able to kind of bump this into a corner, so I didn't want any of the terrain kind of going over the edge. I wanted it just to look very nice, kind of like you took a slice out of the little world that the car is driving in. Now the way the car goes on, these little jumper plates are kind of a reference point, and you just kind of set the car in there and get it so all four wheels are resting on the ground, a bit like that, and then it looks like it is conquering the dunes and just looking really cool driving over the desert. Although you can see that a little bit of the car hangs over the stand, but I thought that that was a worthy sacrifice to get this cool look, and it puts the car at a really nice angle. So with that said, let's go on to the news for the 2021 Speed Champions. Now, quick news update on the 2021 Speed Champions, as promised. Now, as you may know from one of my previous videos, or just in general, I will have that video linked at the end of this one, and as you may know, we have gotten a 2021 Speed Champion already. Now, that is the McLaren Elva Polybag, which I have in my hand right here, and this is a really cool little polybag, and I highly recommend it. Now, this one was about $5, but one of the new Speed Champions full-size sets is going to be a $20 version of the McLaren Elva, and it will be minifigure scale, and that will be much like our F8 Tributo or our GTR that we got last year in 2020, and this will be an 8-stud wide car, so I am very excited to see that we are getting the return of 8 studs wide and not going back to the 6 studs wide. Now, I know that a lot of people like the 6 studs because it fits in their Lego City, but I mean, come on, these are actual cars, so I think it would be a lot cooler to keep with the 8 stud wide format, and I really like it because it's more accurate. So we are getting the McLaren Elva. We are also getting a Toyota GR Supra, just as I said in our previous video, and I am really stoked about this. Supposedly it is going to be yellow, and I think the McLaren Elva is going to be blue, and I think that because this car is blue, and last year we got a little Lamborghini Huracan, and that was black and gold, and the full-size Huracan last year was black and gold as well, so I think it's pretty safe to say our McLaren Elva will be blue. Now we also have that Toyota Supra, and next up for our actually $75 or $80 set, we are going to get a big Dodge set. Now that's going to have a really cool Dodge Top Fuel dragster, and a 1970 Dodge Challenger. And those are, well, the Dodge Challenger is going to be 8 studs wide as well. Don't know about the dragster because it is, of course, a top fuel dragster, and those are very long and skinny, so that's probably going to be maybe 6 studs wide or skinnier. I just don't know yet. But that Dodge Challenger is what I'm really excited about for that set. Now, next up, we have an unknown set for the $50 set, and we just don't know what that is yet as of the recording of this video. And for our $30 set, you may remember last year we got the Jaguars, and that was a really cool set, great value. I'll have that linked in the description as well. And for our $30 set in 2021, we will have the C8 Corvette with I think it's a 1968 Corvette C3, and that is going to be a seriously awesome set. For $30, you can bet as much as you want that I will be picking up that set. I love the C8 Corvette, and I like a lot of Corvettes in general, so that is definitely one I want. Finally, our last 2021 Speed Champion will be the LEGO Koenigsegg Jesko, and I am super excited. Again, another one that I predicted in my video a couple weeks ago, and I am really, really pumped for this wave of Speed Champions, and I hope you are too. So be sure to like, subscribe so you see those videos with the new 2021 Speed Champions, and be sure to click that bell so you never miss a video, and check out this video, which is our little McLaren Elva and our predictions for the sets video, and down here is our LEGO Speed Champions playlist. So with that said, I'll see you next time on LuclearFusion.